First contact and assessment. The vast, majestic mothership emerged from the fold in space, its crystalline structure refracting the light of Earth's sun in brilliant patterns. Admiral Varric stood on the command deck, his 4 eyes scanning the blue-green planet that rotated slowly below them. Another primitive world, remarked his second-in-command, Lyrith. Her skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that indicated mild curiosity. Preliminary scans show limited spaceflight capability, nuclear weapons, and primitive quantum computing. Varric nodded, his crest of sensory tendrils rippling in acknowledgement. The Ascendancy wants a full assessment. Standard procedure. For over 10,000 years, the Majestic had traversed the galaxy, discovering, studying, and ultimately absorbing countless civilizations into their collective. 83 species now lived under Majestic guidance, their unique biological and cultural traits strengthening the whole. Earth would be the 84th, if humans proved worthy. Deploy the observation network, Varric ordered. I want complete coverage. Cultural patterns, technological development rates, socio-political structures, everything. Within days, thousands of microscopic drones were scattered across Earth, invisible to human detection systems. They monitored conversations, analyzed data networks, and reported back to the mothership. A complete picture of humanity began to form in the Majestic databases. They're fractured, noted Kivel, the cultural anthropologist assigned to the mission. Her exoskeleton clicked as she scrolled through the data. Nearly 200 independent political entities, thousands of languages and distinct cultural groups. They spend more resources fighting each other than advancing. Typical of pre-integration species, Varric replied, unsurprised. What of their technological progress? Tizer, the chief scientific analyst, brought up a holographic display showing Earth's technological development curve. Unremarkable, Admiral. Their computing technology is progressing according to expected patterns. Primitive quantum systems, silicon-based classical computing architecture. Nothing we haven't seen in dozens of other species. Varric felt a hint of disappointment. The Ascendancy preferred species with unique traits that could be integrated into the collective, strengthening the whole. Humans seemed average. Continue observation, he ordered. We'll reassess in one planetary rotation. 3 months later, Lyrith entered Varric's private chamber, her bioluminescence pulsing with agitation. Admiral, you need to see this, she said, activating the room's holographic projector. It displayed footage from a human research facility labeled CERN. Scientists there were discussing modifications to their particle accelerator. They've detected the quantum wake from our fold space transition, Tizor explained, entering behind Lyrith. Not directly, but they've observed anomalous particles and are developing theories that come uncomfortably close to understanding our propulsion systems. Varric's tendrils stiffened in surprise. Impossible. Their detection equipment shouldn't be sensitive enough. It wasn't, Tizor confirmed. They modified it after detecting the initial anomaly. They innovated. The word hung in the air between them. Innovation was rare among pre-integration species. Most followed predictable technological paths, with occasional breakthroughs spaced centuries apart. But humans. Show me more, Varric demanded. Over the following weeks, the Majestic observed with growing unease as humans demonstrated a pattern that defied their models. When faced with problems, humans didn't just seek solutions. They sought multiple solutions, often simultaneously. They didn't merely adapt to their environment. They adapted their environment to themselves. And most concerning of all, they shared information at a rate that accelerated their collective problem-solving ability. They communicate constantly, Kivel reported during an emergency council meeting. Their global information network allows specialists in different fields to collaborate across vast distances. When one human makes a discovery, thousands know within days, millions within weeks. Is this a threat assessment? Asked Elder Morvai, the Ascendancy representative, who had arrived via emergency fold space jump. Varric considered carefully. Not yet, but they are unpredictable. Their adaptation rate exceeds our models by 37%. Recommendation: Elder Morvay's compound eyes fixed on Varric. Controlled integration, Varric replied. We reveal ourselves, offer limited technological gifts, and guide their development along paths we can predict and control. The council debated for days before approving Varric's plan. First contact would be carefully orchestrated, a technological demonstration that would awe humans while establishing majestic superiority. The world watched in stunned silence as the majestic ships revealed themselves over 7 major cities simultaneously. The carefully choreographed display of advanced technology, force fields, matter manipulation, and controlled weather phenomena achieved its desired effect. Human governments scrambled to respond, eventually unifying enough to establish a diplomatic channel. We come as friends and mentors, Varric announced in the first global broadcast. We have guided many civilizations to greatness. We offer you the same opportunity. The integration began cautiously. The Majestic established technology exchange centers in major cities where they introduced miraculous medical treatments, clean energy systems, and agricultural improvements. Human quality of life improved dramatically. Global conflicts decreased as resources became abundant. Yet Varric remained uneasy. Something wasn't following the pattern of previous integrations. They're asking too many questions, he confided to Lilith 6 months into the integration. Not just about what we're giving them, but how it works. Why it works. Curiosity is expected, Lilith replied, though her bioluminescence betrayed her own concern. Not like this, Varric countered, displaying a report on his personal terminal. Look at these adaptation rates. We introduced atmospheric purification technology last month. They've already modified it to be 22% more efficient in their specific environment. Lilith's patterns flashed with alarm. That's not supposed to happen. The technology we provided was intentionally limited. Exactly, Varric said grimly. They're not just using what we give them. They're understanding it, improving it, making it their own. The Ascendancy representative was equally troubled when presented with the findings. This is unprecedented, Elder Morvay admitted. Are we certain they aren't accessing restricted information? Positive, Tezzer confirmed. They're doing this through observation and experimentation alone. Their problem-solving methodology is creative. The word was almost foreign to the Majestic, whose strength had always come from methodical, incremental advancement. Elder Morvay's decision was swift. Accelerate the integration timetable. Establish direct oversight in all human research facilities. Any unauthorized technological development must be contained immediately. For a time, the strategy appeared to work. Majestic observers were embedded in every major human scientific institution. Technological advancements were carefully monitored and controlled. The official reports to the Ascendancy showed compliance and gratitude from the human population. Yet underneath, tensions grew. Humans chafed under the increasingly restrictive oversight. Underground research networks formed, sharing information through channels the Majestic couldn't monitor. A resistance movement emerged, dedicated to technological independence. And then came the breakthrough that changed everything. Dr. Elena Chen had been studying the quantum field generators the Majestic used to create their defensive shields. Working in a secret lab beneath Stockholm, she discovered something the aliens had missed, a resonance pattern that could amplify the field's strength while reducing energy requirements. Her team was on the verge of building a prototype when Majestic surveillance finally detected their work. This cannot be allowed, Elder Morvay declared when informed. Such technology in human hands would make them unpredictable, dangerous. Varric knew what would come next. The Majestic had encountered potentially disruptive species before. Those that couldn't be controlled were isolated or eliminated. As he watched the Ascendancy dispatch its enforcers to Earth, Varric felt an unfamiliar sensation creeping through his consciousness. For the first time in his long career, he questioned whether the Majestic had miscalculated. Not about humanity's potential threat, but about their own ability to contain it. Resistance and revolution. The raid on Dr. Chen's laboratory was meant to be surgical: eliminate the research, remove the key scientists, leave no evidence of Majestic involvement. Instead, it became the catalyst for humanity's revolution. Something went catastrophically wrong when the Majestic enforcers attempted to neutralize the prototype quantum field generator. The resulting explosion leveled 3 city blocks in downtown Stockholm, killing over 4,000 humans and 2 Majestic operatives whose bodies couldn't be recovered in time. The Majestic expected fear, submission. They had miscalculated. Within hours, footage from surviving security cameras revealed the truth: alien enforcers attacking the human research facility. The global response was immediate and unified. Protests erupted outside every Majestic installation worldwide. Human governments, for once united, demanded answers. Aboard the mothership, Varric watched the situation deteriorate with growing alarm. "The humans have accessed our secure communications," Tezor reported, his usual clinical tone edged with disbelief. "They've decoded enough to understand that we consider them a potential threat." "How?" demanded Elder Morvay, his compound eyes flashing with rage. "They adapted the communication technology we gave them," Tezor explained. "They modified it to detect and decrypt our quantum signals." Varric felt a chill. "I warned that they were unpredictable." "Irrelevant now," Elder Morvay dismissed. "Implement containment protocol. We cannot allow this level of defiance to spread through the galaxy." Containment protocol. Varric knew what that meant. The Majestic would establish direct control over Earth, by force if necessary. It had happened 6 times before in their long history. But as the Majestic positioned their warships over major human cities, something unprecedented occurred. Human communication networks worldwide broadcast a simple message: "We stand together." What followed stunned even Varric. Human military forces, previously divided by national interests, coordinated a simultaneous global strike against Majestic installations. They used weapons that shouldn't have existed, modified versions of the very technology the Majestic had introduced. "How are they penetrating our shields?" Lirith demanded as reports flooded in of Majestic outposts falling to human attacks. "They've discovered the resonance pattern," Tizor realized. Dr. Chen's research. They must have distributed it before the raid. The Majestic response was swift and overwhelming. Precision strikes destroyed human military bases and government centers around the globe. Millions died in the first wave. Yet humanity did not surrender. Instead, they went underground. Literally. They retreated to vast networks of tunnels and bunkers that Majestic surveillance had somehow missed, using the very geological features of their planet as shields against orbital bombardment. They prepared for this, Varric observed, studying the tactical displays. They anticipated our response. From these hidden strongholds, humans launched counterattacks using guerrilla tactics that the Majestic, accustomed to conventional warfare, struggled to counter. They targeted supply lines and communication nodes, gradually degrading the Majestic occupation force. 6 months into the conflict, a new human weapon emerged, a virus, not biological but technological. It infected Majestic systems, corrupting their data and disabling their most advanced weapons. The code was unlike anything in Majestic experience. Adaptive, self-evolving, almost alive. "They've weaponized their unpredictability," Tizor explained. "Analyzing the virus, it doesn't follow logical pathways. It makes intuitive leaps, just as they do." As Majestic control weakened, Elder Morvay made the ultimate decision. "Deploy the sovereignty architects," he ordered. "Reconfigure human neural patterns for compliance." The sovereignty architects. Massive orbital platforms that could broadcast mind-altering signals across an entire planet, represented the Majestic's final solution for rebellious species. They had been used only twice before in their history. As the architects moved into position, Varric received an urgent transmission from Earth. It came from an unexpected source. Dr. Maya Rodriguez, a human neuroscientist who had worked closely with Majestic researchers during the integration. "We know what you're planning," she said, her face grim but composed on the holographic display. "Before you proceed, you should know what we've discovered." She transmitted data that caused Tizor to physically recoil from his console. "Impossible," he whispered. "What is it?" demanded Elder Morve. "They've reverse-engineered the architects," Tizor explained. "But more than that. They've discovered that the neural reconfiguration process works both ways. If they modify the broadcast frequency, they could reconfigure Majestic neural patterns," Varric finished, understanding the implications immediately. "We offer a choice," Dr. Rodriguez continued. "Withdraw your forces and recognize Earth's independence, or we will deploy our counter-architects. We don't want to change who you are, just as we refuse to let you change us." Elder Morve dismissed the threat. "They're bluffing. Activate the architects." But Varric had studied humans too long to underestimate them now. "Elder, consider what we've learned about them. They don't make empty threats, and they don't think like us. They'll use this weapon not because it's logical, but because they believe it's necessary for their survival." Before Elder Morvi could respond, alarms blared throughout the mothership. Something was interfering with the architect's activation sequence. "They've already deployed their countermeasure," Tizor reported, his voice tight with stress. "It's broadcasting on all Majestic frequencies." For a moment, Varric felt an alien sensation brush against his consciousness. Unfamiliar thought patterns, chaotic emotional cascades, flashes of human perspective. Around him, other Majestic officers showed signs of distress as they too experienced the effect. "Shut it down," ordered Elder Morve. "I'm trying," Tizor responded. "But their signal is adaptable. It keeps finding new pathways." In that moment, Varric made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. He opened a direct channel to Dr. Rodriguez. "Cease your broadcast," he said. "I propose negotiations, not as overlord and subject, but as equals." The response was immediate. "Prove it. Withdraw your forces, all of them." Against Elder Morve's furious objections, Varric ordered the Majestic fleet to pull back. The alternative, a psychic war that could fundamentally alter both species, was too great a risk. 3 months later, Varric stood before the full Ascendancy Council, defending his unprecedented decision. "Humans cannot be integrated like other species," he explained. "Their creativity, their adaptability, their unpredictability. These are not weaknesses to be corrected, but strengths we have not encountered before. They don't follow our models because they create their own paths." "And what would you have us do?" asked the High Elder. "Allow them free access to the galaxy. They could destabilize everything we've built. Or they could transform it," Varric countered. "Throughout our history, we have absorbed species to add their strengths to our own. But humans cannot be absorbed. They must be allied with. Partners, not subjects." The debate raged for weeks, but ultimately, pragmatism prevailed. A new treaty was established. Earth would remain independent, but would engage in mutual exchange of knowledge and technology with the Majestic. As Varric prepared to return to Earth as the first Majestic ambassador, Lyrith approached him on the observation deck. "Do you think it will work?" she asked, her bioluminescence reflecting her uncertainty. "This partnership." Varric watched Earth rotating below, billions of unpredictable minds creating their own future. "I don't know," he admitted. "And that's what makes it interesting." From that day forward, the Majestic encountered a phenomenon previously unknown in their methodical expansion: unpredictability. Humans ventured into the galaxy not as subjects but as equals, bringing with them their chaotic creativity, their relentless innovation, and their stubborn refusal to be anything other than themselves. The galaxy would never be the same.